Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and John McCain has died at 81 years old. Now, I want to get this right out of the way off the bat. We're not going to celebrate anybody's death. That's not something that I think is appropriate. That's not something we're going to do. But we are going to look at the legacy of John McCain because, as you can see right behind me, obviously the mainstream media, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, they're all going to applaud this guy. They're going to call him a patriot. He gave so much. He was our 2008 Republican candidate for the presidency of the United States. But the bottom line is, what I'm hoping this is this is the end of the establishment politician. Okay? The end of the establishment politician. That's what this needs to be, folks. Because he embodied so many lies and falsehoods that got us into wars and kept us there. Now, the first example of this that I want to show everybody, and hopefully it'll come in nice and loud for you, but this is him telling you in 2003, staunch supporter of the war, that we are going to indeed find weapons of mass destruction in Iraq.
With some of the worst in history, and we're finding out a lot of this information, but we'd know a lot more when people came forward at his trial. But I think we'll find his whereabouts, and I think we'll find weapons of mass destruction as well.
Let's say it again.
At his trial. But I think we'll find his whereabouts, and I think we'll find weapons of mass destruction as well. With some of the worst in history, and we're finding out a lot of this information, but we'd know a lot more when people came forward at his trial. But I think we'll find his whereabouts, and I think we'll find weapons of mass destruction as well.
Well, there it is right there. And you know what he was rewarded for that? He was rewarded with running for the president of the United States. And he didn't stop there. Global Research does some amazing, amazing work. And read this Cancer of Conflict article, okay? Just read it. Please. Please, please, please. And up until his dying day, folks, up until his dying day, this is a guy that worked for the establishment. He literally actively worked against Trump whenever Trump was trying to do the right thing. He clearly did not want him or anybody disruptive in office. And that's why, Trump, I'm not on that train, by the way. I want to say that right now. Not on the Trump train. But it was very clear that establishment politicians, establishment Republicans, especially people like John McCain, were there to attack him at every instance. Every single instance. Remember, again, we're going to find weapons of mass destruction. We need to liberate Iraq. He never apologized for that position. And now, we're going to get into more stuff that it's not great for John McCain. So again, I hope this again shows a passing of the guard, an end to this type of establishment interventionist politician, this neocon. His record on Iraq is repulsive, guys. Repulsive. Remember, I mean, he promoted Al-Qaeda, and, while he was in 2008, his Vietnam War record was called into question. And remember, although the mainstream media came to his aid, 4 Pinocchios for Rand Paul mentioning that, John McCain met with members of ISIS. You can see the pictures. It's this great. New York Times and Washington Post, who I feel like will, be writing love letters about this guy. Here they are. They're debunking his ties to ISIS. And I know a lot of people don't remember some of the things there, but there was also a green screen video that supposedly came from one of his aides of a beheading. It was never proven false. It was never proven true. But my point is, again, John McCain, Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, you name it. When there was a war to get into, this guy couldn't wait. If you've got any questions in the chats. Obviously, we take the super chats first, but am I getting it right? Am I getting it wrong? Are there McCain lovers? Do you think that I'm not even doing some of the things that he did justice? Because again, this is a guy that not only, first of all, senator, very powerful in his own state. In fact, if you remember, John McCain was also one of the guys that was against mixed martial arts. He was against the UFC. I don't know many positions that I would take with John McCain. If I was to give him one thing, and who knows how genuine he was on this issue, but if you remember when Ashton Kutcher came and spoke about the software his company had developed to get child predators and traffickers, he gave a nod to John McCain, and I hope that he was genuine in that. But certainly not genuine when it comes to the war in Iraq, which we're still in. Certainly not genuine with his ties to ISIS. Nicholas Peter, thank you so much for the super chat. And yes, for those that don't know, I interviewed Titus Frost on the backup channel. We were discussing the Q phenomenon. I think that he's done some really great work on that. I know this is basically about John McCain, but most people here know my position on the Q phenomenon. I never bought into it. I think that it's really used as a way to create inactiveness amongst us. How do I mean? Well, everything's going to be all right. There's all these white hats out there. They're going to save us, these magical indictments. And it immobilizes many people and divides people on real issues. So if you want to know what I feel about Q and what the origins of Q may actually be, go to the backup channel. It's /Luke WeAreChange. It's the Pulse Change channel. And folks, we really need your subscribers. We really need you to hit that notification button. We really need you to share this content because the algorithm is against us. I'm about to be taken off on a major Facebook page because I can't verify my account even though I gave them a phone number. So there's going to be some issues with that. I've been trying to contact Facebook on that. So the We Are Change page starting Tuesday may not have the links to this. So I'm going to need you to share this stuff on social media because I'm going to be unable to. Okay, I know that the ever-growing censorship and even self-censorship on social media platforms has reached a new high. But when something this big breaks, obviously it's trending on Twitter. It's one of the big stories here. If you go home and there's John McCain here. I mean, McCain, you name it. McCain is everywhere right now. And he's one of the biggest faces in politics. He has been for some time because he's been establishment, because he's promoted wars, because he's went with the mainstream lines about Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, Al-Qaeda, ISIS. And he's taken the media's side every time they've attacked. He was one to attack Trump for not being strong enough with North Korea. It's disturbing. And again, all the love letters and the flowers in the world are not going to change his record. Some of the comments I don't want to read just because, again, but yes, so many dead children. A lot of people don't want to hold these politicians and media figures accountable for their actions. But the bottom line is, guys, they have huge sway with the public. This is going to be on the front page of every major publication tomorrow. Every one. Okay? A lot of local papers, too. It's already probably flooding cable news. It was reported less than an hour ago. And how many people are going to take the contrarian position that I'm taking right now? How many people are going to say, you know what, shame on you, New York Times, for defending McCain's ties to ISIS. Shame on you, Washington Post, for doing the same thing. The Bezos Post. There it is. The Bezos Post. Jeff Bezos, $600 million deal with the CIA to store information. Jeff Bezos making deals to supply military-grade equipment to police stations around the country. Jeff Bezos, a man whose own employees usually have to be subsidized with food stamps and other government subsidies because they can't make it with them. But, they'll attack Rand Paul for pointing out what John McCain did with the Islamic State. I mean, give me a break. Makes me sick. Makes me sick, folks. So once again, I mean, what are your thoughts? I do not celebrate a man's death. I will not celebrate a man's death. Yeah, and that's a point I want to make. John McCain, who had all this hate for bin Laden and Al Qaeda, and there was a celebratory feel when it was announced that bin Laden was killed. They were all over the news. Let's look that up. People celebrate as bin Laden dies. Bin Laden death celebration. Okay? And here it is. Right here. USA celebrates bin Laden's death. This is our culture.
Today, at my direction, the United States launched a targeted operation against
Right here, let's just skip you.
and symbol, and has continued to plot attacks against our country and our friends and allies. The death of bin Laden marks the most significant achievement to date in our nation's effort to defeat Al Qaeda.
I don't want to get it pulled because of a copyright claim, because that music's playing in the background. But there it is, playing right behind me, folks. Take a good look. This was our country when we announced the death of somebody that may have been involved in 9/11, may not have been involved in 9/11. Seymour Hersh, our premier journalist, the guy who has a Pulitzer Prize, all right? The Pulitzer winner. The guy that exposed the bin Laden raid as a falsehood. The guy who exposed the abuses at Abu Ghraib prison of children being raped there. Think about that. Does Abu Ghraib prison have children that are being raped there if we weren't lying to get into the war with Iraq with mainstream types like John McCain? Probably not. Probably not. Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, there we are. We should be really proud of ourselves right there, guys. Give me a break. It's shameful. It's shameful. It makes me upset to look at stuff like this. Yeah! Yeah! Meanwhile, Hearst says, hey, the book's not written on 9/11. I don't really know if, bin Laden is this mastermind. But, even today, these days, propaganda in the media that Muhammad Atta's daughter and bin Laden's son are getting together. Terror marries terror. Atta and bin Laden together again. Who knows what kind of terrorist babies may attack the United States. And here we are. I mean, we're really close to the anniversary of 9/11 coming up. Almost 20 years on right now. Almost 20 years. Think about it. 17th anniversary on the way. Sparked all this. And actually, I've got some pretty big moments for McCain in my film Fabled Enemies. Oh, so again, I want to wrap it up in saying we take no pleasure in anybody's death, and I'm not going to celebrate the end of this guy. But at the same time, what is this guy's legacy? It's lies upon lies upon lies that caused death and destruction amongst millions upon millions of people in the Middle East who are still suffering today. Up until basically his dying breath, he worked for that establishment. He promoted war in Syria. He did have involvement with ISIS. If you want to talk about a deep state operative, John McCain is it. This is the guy. He's part of the Trump dossier, the dirty dossier that has no relevance in reality. He's attacked every single good policy in the Middle East. Every one. So, again, I hope that this is the passing of the guard when it comes to politicians like John McCain. Folks, thank you so much for joining me on this very quick live stream. If you disagree, say so in the comments below. Remember, hit that subscribe button, hit those notification buttons. Go check out the backup channel. We are truly independent. We have a t-shirt shop. Grab a cool t-shirt, grab a cool hoodie, help support us. I love you all, and be the change you want to see in the world.